Alright, so today on the wonderful, lovely gaming Rocks, we're going to be taking more or less, as you guys know, in the first little tutorial, I just showed you guys how to get this game up and running. Now let's try to see if we can get this game, get the Retroarch to actually do us a little bit of improvement or upgrades. Upgrade as much as we can, but not in a sense. So, for a lot of you guys, there is, as you guys can see, as you know, I just got this to up and run just to pick the games that we want. Now, if you were to say, okay, I want to have these games with the picture. Well, as you can see, Pokemon Sapphire does not have it, but that's... So you click on, you go down thumbnails, and it will bring up your thumbnails. But some games will not bring it up, as you can see. These ones who do will have it there. Now, you guys notice I didn't download I didn't get a few more. I got a few more stuff on here to try out to see how things work. See, we can check the crystal version. Okay, some of these I didn't do. See, they're both two different versions. But as you can see, you have, that's just allowing you to, see, I'm checking to make sure that all of these have it. Now, I will tell you right now, a lot of the GameCube emulation, if you guys know, I have been using a lot of the emulation. Retroarch doesn't, Dolphin emulator doesn't seem to run very well with this with this core anyway. So I haven't found any much of it, but as you can see, I have a whole bunch of stuff, and today I wanted to actually just showcase that you guys can download that there's a lot of information on it. Let's see, there's so much you can download that you can play on here. Just make sure that you pick the correct version. But I was just showing you guys that you guys can actually get your thumbnails and make sure that you get the box art or the art that was initially for the game. Now, if I come down here, we have a whole host of different things. Now, I could record this for utilizing the actual in-game recording, but I chose not to. But if you wanted to, you could do that if you wanted to. You have on-screen displays, which adjust bezels and on-screen controls. Okay. If you're playing on Android, this is more likely the best for you to use. You can also display things here. Now there is also a host of achievements. Okay, have you ever noticed that some of these old games don't have achievements? Some of them do. Some of them might have an in-game achievements, like Need for Speed Carbon, for example, has in-game achievements, and you can boast about it. But there's also a host of achievements you guys can actually do, and if you come all the way down here to achievements, this is compete to earn custom achievements in current games. So let's go to retroarch.org. Whoops. So now let's open up our display capture. Let's go to Retroarch. Now this is something where you can check on your current achievements. So if we go to Retroarch, Retroarch. Now I'm going to type in Retroarch. Hold on, what's the website name? It's Retroarch Achievements. Okay. Now achievements. Okay, now I'm going to spell that incorrectly, but hey. Retroarch. How to set up achievements? First, go to Retroarch. So now, in order to get achievements to actually work and actually run, you will need to create an account. Okay. Okay. Now I'm going to hide this from you guys, but this is where you would create an account. Now the only reason I'm hiding this from you is so that you guys don't see what I'm actually typing in and stuff. But I will let you know that my it's gonna be my username is gonna be the same thing as my channel. So if you guys want to check out my achievements and stuff, we will be playing a lot of different achievements. Like, we will be doing a lot of things for, like, Pokemon games, like the Game Boy Advance stuff. A lot of these different achievements that couldn't possibly be done in older style games. So we're going to take a look in playing those games down the line in the future. So on my channel, those achievements will be lauded differently, and they will be emulated, but hey, I don't know how Nintendo's going to be on with that, but, you know, I'm just emulating the games I own. The only games I don't own, to be honest with you, are the NES and the SNES stuff, but I don't. Well, I should say I own most of all the stuff myself. Some of them aren't, but that's just how the way it is. But most of them are. So let's go in. I'm gonna use and then I gotta re-enter my email here. Okay. Now I should. I don't know if I do have that set up. I don't know if it got set up or whatnot. It doesn't look like that it got set up correctly. Hold on. Because it normally would show up by... Okay, so let's create a new account. Let's go with, let's go with... I gotta retype in everything here. Not getting made. Matting rocks. Okay. Read the terms and conditions below. So now I have created my account. Okay. Now I'm hopefully that I can log in. Okay, so now let's enter the password. So we're taking a look at how Retroarch seems to run and stuff. So now let's get back into showing you guys the actual display capture. So as you guys can see, this is a whole host of things that you can achieve. Like, you got my pages, my easy achievements, best rewards, my legacy, download. Okay, now if I click on download, it's just going to basically utilize the retro achievements. It does, now it says that there, but now let's go over here. Now let's go in. I'm going to turn on achievements, and we're going to input my username over here. Oops, let's go back. Okay. Now I'm going to hide my password again. Okay. I'm going to hide it quick that you guys can't see what it is, because I don't need you guys seeing what it is, because it's not, it is, because if you are using, because if you guys are, okay, if you guys are utilizing the password login, now, it's going, now if you go in here, it's going to show you your password that you have inputted for it. So I will never be coming back here, unless if I do, I will probably end up closing out of it if I have to. And I will not be enabling hard mode. Okay. So now we have the achievement set up. Once you get your username and password set up, there is a host of, now I'm not going to show you guys here, but there's a host of hardcore mode. Basically, you'll just disable a lot of these save states, cheats, rewinds, pause, slow motions for all games. There's also leaderboards, game Pacific leaderboards. There's achievement badges, verboso mode, which shows more information in the notifications, and automatic text changes when achievement is triggered. Okay, that's basically what achievements are. Now, there is also, if you guys notice that in network there's network configuration. Now, if you guys notice that you come over here, there is a thing called net play. For games that are all-intensive local play or wanting to be able to play with others online, you can do it through net play here. Okay, and it just allows you to connect to different as you can see, like Dr. Mario here has got Lucky Dame Keep Starring Donald Duck, Arkanoid. You know, you can get a whole bunch of different games being played online. Like, you could probably trade online with your Pokemon. You could probably play like your Mario Party online that you couldn't naturally play in the early days, like Bomberman 64. You can now play that with a whole bunch of other people in Age of Empires. Things that you can't really play anymore, or things you might not be able to play as a kid when you were in the NES era. You had to sit down and play with people on the actual thing. That's what net play is. I'm not going into too much delve into that right now, but I'm just going through showing you that that's what you can do. Now let's go over here into showing you the drivers. Okay, there are a whole host of drivers, and you have the SDLI, SDL2, D input raw if you're on PC. You also have joypad. I'm using the X input, but you can do that. If you want to change how things are, you can do on a Xbox controller. You can use the D-pad or use the analog stick and change how you want it. But I'm going to stick to there. I'm using GL, but there's also GL Core, GL1, Vulkan. I don't think Intel supports Vulkan, so I can't really, or Windows or whatever. I don't think Vulkan is very well supported, so I'm going to stick to using GL. There's also the whole host of Wasabi of the thing. Now, I use the Wasabi because that's dedicated for my system, and you can change. Now, I would highly recommend you keep it XMB if you're on PC. If you're on an Android, I would highly go with GL, the default that came with it. Now, there are some video options. Now, this is where we're going to get in here and we're going to start tinkering with certain things. This uses a custom refresh rate specific to config file if needed. We're not going to mess with that. that does not you don't need to mess with it, because you know, if you're using a vertical refresh rate of 60 hertz, which is mine, we have them both set to full screen mode and windowed mode. Monitor index is set to auto. Okay. And I'm gonna leave it on auto. Okay. Okay. This just selects which display screen to use. Leave it on auto if you are planning on doing things. It'll auto display it to whatever screen you want it to be. Now you can set up the custom aspect ratio. Okay. Custom aspect ratio height. I have it. I don't. Hold on. I want to check something here. We're using that 1920 by 1080, and that's aspect ratio. We're gonna leave it core provided. Okay. You can set it up to 16 by 9, 16 by 10, but leave it by core provided. Because that way, if something does happen to where, hey, you don't want black bars, then set it to 16 by 9. But if the core set it up to, you know, you have like a Nintendo DS, yes, it's going to be stretched. Or if you have like a GameCube or something that's going to be played that doesn't naturally play in 16 by 9 aspect ratio, leave it. It's going to basically say, it's going to say, hey, if I'm playing on a Game Boy, it's going to set it to its natural resolution. Okay. You could set it up integrated scale. Only scales video and intercepts the base depends on system reported geometry and aspects. If force aspect is not set, XY will be integrated scaled independently. Threaded video improves performance at a cost of latency and more video stuttering. Only use if you cannot obtain full speed otherwise. I would highly leave that off. And vertical VSync, I have it turned on, but you don't have to turn it on if you don't want to. You have adaptive VSync, which might be better than the regular VSync, but I have that turned on because I like to leave it. Because my PC doesn't really necessarily, I don't have any graphics card, and so that helps. You can also change other host of frames delay. I would highly leave those alone. Black frame insertion inserts a black frame in between frames, useful for users with 120 Hz screens who want to play 6-year content to emulate ghosting. So if you are playing at a higher resolution, I would highly set that up. But as you guys can see, it has some ghosting problems. I would highly keep that turned off if it's turned on. Crop overscreen cuts off a few pixels around the edges of the image, customarily left blank for developers, which sometimes also contain garbage pixels, which is good. Now, allow a CPU provided video filter. Note, may come at a high performance, got some video filters. So now I'm going to put in a little bit of that filter, but I want to use a scanline filter. Okay. For all intents and purposes, a scanline filter for some games, I'm playing on things that were intended for a CRT or intended for other things. Now, you could say that the Nintendo DS and the PSP are not, but that's just one thing. I'm also going to set up, let's go back to derived video again. Let's also go to bilinear filtering. Isolate blurred image that takes the edge off of the hard edge pixel. This option has very little impact on performance. I would highly keep that turned on. Okay. I have scanline 2x. I could also do a different whole host of different filters, but I keep it on scanline. If you're playing on old, if you want a feel of that old-timey feel. You can also go into audio settings, and you can set up a whole host of things. Now, you could set up a whole host depending on what you're using. But as you can see, I have a full different mix for different things, but I don't never mess with this. The only thing I ever messed with is just making sure my device is set up correctly. I always have it set up to utilizing this speaker Raytech high definition audio or my local thing, because I'll be doing a lot of recording and a lot of stuff with that. So I keep it on that main device while I still have my display port. So that if I am on this, but I have it set up default on that there. So DPS plugin, I would highly recommend that if you're playing with things that don't necessarily have a stereo effect, I would kind of keep it a mono DSP, which is going to basically set things up to hear in both ears, even if the content is in stereo. And I'm going to leave that on for my audio because I typically don't have a stereo headset that works right now, because my audio jack here is not working correctly. Now, the only reason I have these on is because I'm going to be recording right after this one. I'm going to start doing an episode on Pokemon. And you guys will have to let me know if you guys really want to see that. You want to continue to see that, but you'll have to wait on that. It'll be a little bit before that. If you guys did see my previous episode on the beginner's guide, that's just showing you how to get things running and how to get things going. This is for more advanced users who already know how to get the beginner's guide set up. So now latency. Now this is where you can say latency is set up for, depending, you might want to set that to 64 is the initial. Okay, last episode I didn't see that, but I did check that on my Android device. I have it set to 128 on my Android, but I had re-updated I had done something where it changed and reset the thing to back to 64, and that is true that it is set 64 rather than 128. Now these are just configurations. It just allows you to save things. Don't need to mess with those. Now you could save RAM auto intervals, but this isn't too much. If you go into file browser, okay, this is when you can file. I would keep the show hidden files and folders off, but if you want that on, you could do it that yourself. But I have it filtered by current core. I actually would keep that on if you plan on loading a whole bunch of cores. Okay. Now you can do you can do rewind, you can do that, but I'm not going to. That I keep the rewind filter off, and I also I do that. So I keep the rewind off because I don't think it's a good idea to have it on anyway, and it will take a performance hit. So if you are running on a lower end system, keep this off. Recording. Now, recording, you can record and do streams. Like, hey, you don't have OBS, or you just don't want to load OBS, you can now stream via Twitch. And you can use GPU and post filter recording. On-screen displays, I haven't gotten into this because I don't use it. I use actually different, I use Streamlabs to stream on Twitch, and I use OBS to record my actual videos, because I don't need the fancy stuff, and it's just that way. Now, on-screen display, this allows you to say, hey, I want an on-screen display for my basically, if you're on an Android device, it'll show you on the on-screen controls. Basically, it's gonna show you A, B, X, Y, those kind of layouts that you would see. Now, if you're playing on a tablet or an Android device of some sort, or iOS or whatever, and you're using a controller for it, I would highly just turn this off. But if you're on a Windows, turn it off, because unless you really absolutely need to, you're not using a controller, it's highly recommended that you do turn it on to find out what the controls are. But if you're using a controller, don't worry about it too much. I don't have a lot of the overlay setup of capacity, so I'm going to change that. I want to change that to meet this one down here. Plus of all UI elements of the overlay. That's just basically saying, hey, if I want the overlays to show. Now, I'm going to show you that here. So I'm going to put that on and show you what those look like here in a minute. Display frame. This is going to display the frame rate up in the right hand corner. It's at 45. In frames, it's 256. Now, I'm leaving it at, it roughly changes based on that, but I have it set to 60 frames per second. So that's all I'm doing is I'm just showing you guys that, hey, this is running at close to 60 frames per second. Now, user interface. This is going to be adjust the menu screen's appearance. Now, you can do dynamic backwards allows load a new wallpaper depending on context. Okay. You can set that up. You can also, if you set background, let's go with C. My favorite thing is I'm going to go to users. I'm going to go to DSU. Yes, this is not my actual official laptop. Initially. Let's go with girls' clothing. I'm going to, I'm going to put in one of my favorite shoes. Now, you guys are going to be questioning that, yes, I actually do like Adidas more than I like traditionally. I'm going to use, basically, I'm just going to pick one. And then as you can see, the background opacity, okay, I'm going to turn the background opacity up a little bit. Like, if I go in here, I actually want to turn basically the opacity on this image, as you can see. And then I want to change let's actually change that to a different color. Hold on. A different shoe, because I think we're going to go to this. No. Hold on. It's DSU. Pictures. Shoes. Okay. I'm looking at something that I can. Some of these are going to be low res because I use them for icons and stuff. But I'm looking at no. Let's go under Nike. I know. This is basically what you guys can do with it. It says you guys can put in your own custom background. You can choose whatever. And if you guys are using this on a Raspberry Pi, this would be even evident that you guys can actually do this. I haven't messed with any of those because I only have as a PC. I want to get a Raspberry Pi and put this. Oops. This is my Windows theme. This is what I have that I use on the main for Windows. But I'm looking at. Okay, now, now I'm actually going to switch this back. I'm going to give it a little bit of that. I'm going to switch it back to a blue tint here. Put it back at, I'm going to drop it back down to a lower tint, just so you guys can kind of see this. I'll change it once I get the things. Now you can set up how you want the different animations and different icons. As you can see, I use monochrome. Flat UI. I also think I could probably go just looking at it. We have the pixelated size. We have Neo Active, Synthetic, Dot Art, Custom. We have a retro system. Okay. I'm going to just put it back as electric blue just because. Okay, so now if you want to do screenshots, I would do box art here. This is where your thumbnails come in. This is where your information is left. Thumbnails. We'll do title screens. Okay. I want to have left thumbnails to display at the left side. Thumbnails vertical disposition. Not gonna worry about. But now this is just basically some of the extra stuff that you guys can mess around with. That's the menu color screen, but I was looking to see if I can change the color of the menu font. Now I do have some other kinds of fonts. Layout. I'm going to do menu layout console. We also have console. This is, I would highly recommend not utilizing this because I'm going to stick it to the actual auto. It depends on if I've changed the size and stuff. So you can change the appearance and how things go. Menu widgets. You can use widgets here. You can show advanced settings. Now, there's also kiosk mode. Protects the setup by hiding all configured related settings. You could set up a password for disabling kiosk mode, but I've never turned that on because there's hardly anybody touches my laptop anyway. You can have a menu bar. You can a desktop menu setup. And setup. I don't really mess with a lot of it. Views. Now I'm going to show / load content. I'm going to hide that there. I'm also going to show and hide the help button. I'm going to also show the settings tab. I will leave that favorites tab. I'm going to hide the show image tab, music tab, and video tab. I'm also going to hide keep the history tab. I'm also going to show the important content tab, and that date and time is going to be date, month, hour, minute. I'm going to do this one here because frankly I am use that kind of thing, so it's telling me that yes, it is 11:36 p.m. when I'm recording this. Now I do going to keep these here for things. Online updater, yep. Legacy thumbnail updater, that's hidden right off the bat. Show configuration file, show and hide the configuration file option. I'm going to keep that on. But if you guys can see that I have actually cut out a few extra options. Hold on, I don't remember where. Okay, hold on. Menu widget. Okay, no, I'm looking for. So the AI service. I don't know where I. Appearance. Views. Settings. Okay, now under settings, I still want to keep that there. Under quick menu, I want to remove the start recording and start streaming set. I also want to remove the cheats option. These shaders can stay. Okay. The only thing I'm removing are these two, so that you guys can go through it. Now let's take a look. Now a lot of these other settings I have disabled, but I don't know why. Like show the image tab, show the music tab, and show the video tab. Now you might end up having to. Okay. Now you might end up having to restart Retroarch, so let's restart it and see if anything gets changed. gets changed on that. And if it gets changed, this is kind of doing some of the additional setups that you guys might like. Now, I might have to restart Retroarch here, and I think that's going to happen. Now, as you guys can see, I got rid of, these are my favorites tabs. These are things that I will keep in here. These are just things that I've recently played on here. So I think that's good. Now, we do have the AI services. AI services is going to pause translation, image mode, or continues to run in speech mode. So basically, this is just AI services. I don't ever source language, don't care. Target language, don't care. AI services, I never mess with that. It just changes settings. It just allows you to translate certain things if you need to. Power management, there's no settings. I don't know what the power managements are. I don't know if there is any on the Windows installer, but we also have now I showed you how the achievements are. Network, playlists. Okay, now this under here, playlist, this is going to show you a sub label. Okay, all I want to do is just put in, I don't want to, yeah, I'll leave it the way it is. So, but you can change like all playlists, histories, and favorites. You can say, you know, all playlists. Associated chords in the playlists? Never. Okay, I'd never associate it with it because I might want to change it, but certain favorites. There, you can also say runtime logs, which I don't think you need to. You can scan without core match if a core is installed to support its extension. I don't know what the fuzzy archive matching, but that's how you can show your playlist. There's my user. Okay, you can create an account, manage accounts on here. This is my user. This is my language, and then you can do directories. This is where you can change a lot of your directory for downloads, file browser default. You can set it up to where it'll search. Now, I do want to have my file browser, instead of having it default, I want it default to I think I just restarted Retroarch. I didn't mean to do that, because I'm trying to figure out how to see if I can set up the file browsing. But there's not much here in the terms of directory and stuff. File browser configs. This is basically where you can change all of your cheats and all of your things that you have. Like your cache. You can set up a cache stuff. This isn't much that you need to change here. If you're looking for core info, just leave it to default. If you're looking for system, you can do that there. Your assets are fine. And I make backgrounds. Now I'm going to see if I can change this. Let's go to C. Let's go to users. DSU. Let's go down to pictures, and I'm going to stick to using under the use that directory. So now dynamic backgrounds will be under there. File browser, we're going to have this one use that as our current directory, because, you know, because that's where I have my my stuff's usually mainly stored is on my E drive, my game drive. But other than that, that's pretty much everything that you can do under the settings and stuff. You can also do online, change the information of your system, figure out what that is, cursor management. Okay. These are just different cursors that you can use. This is going to where you can find your config files. So there's pretty much some of the basic stuff. Now, Now, if you happen to hit select, it'll find some information on it. So if you guys aren't unfamiliarized with that, I didn't mention that in the first one, but you know, you can do it. Now there's not much in here in terms of things. If you're trying to manage or edit certain cores, you can do that. So, let's show you guys. I do like this, but I will mess around with that later, with the config. Now, the game that I've planned on showing you guys in the future is we'll be playing. You guys will be able to let me know if you guys want me to play. Now, I will have a video recorded in advance for a Pokemon game. Pokemon Fire Red version. Okay, now I've played this. I've played this as a kid. Again, I don't know where my copy's at, frankly, but you know, we'll play Pokemon Fire Red here. We will eventually play. We might play Leaf Green based on what your guys' opinion. We might be able to now. On this, we'll be doing a lot of different Pokemon. We'll do. If we do GameCube, I will probably say X. I'm not going to do GameCube only because my computer might not be able to handle me recording, and maybe the PSP because I don't want my computer to actually crash. The last time I did this, I was doing live streaming for Final Fantasy 12, and my game decided to cut out, basically died on me. So if you guys have any particular games you guys want me to showcase, now if I do showcase a Bomberman, I will probably just showcase some of the battle modes. But if you guys have a Pokemon that you guys want me to see, or a game that you guys want me to do from emulation, let me know in the comments, and I will try to collectively collect them, and we will do that. Now, I am also currently running, right now, a Final Fantasy 8 on the channel, and another Brick in the Mall, and currently, the other game I'm running besides that is Battle Royale Tycoon. But I'm not going to be doing that much later down the line for those. Unless you guys really are wanting me to see those. I'm going to maybe do a couple more episodes of Battle Royale Tycoon. And that. And if you guys want to see some other tutorials and other things, hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. And hit that subscribe button if you haven't done already, and hit that bell notification. But remember, if you hit that bell notification, it's going to be personalized. Hit that all notification, and you will be able to get everything from me. will be honest with you, I usually have a video at least uploaded one a day, possibly two. So if you're getting notifications from me, and if you didn't get a notification that day from me, or I just haven't uploaded anything that day, you know, I will usually upload, my videos usually are uploaded around 1 o'clock every day, but that may change, so don't say it's going to be every day at 1 o'clock. No, that's when I start recording them, is usually I'll record them around 1, they'll usually be up by about 4, so that's going to basically be it. So if you guys want to see any, now if we do the Castlevania games, I have another one coming. I have another one. You guys want to see these games? I won't be showcasing a lot much more. If you guys have a ROM hack that you guys want to see, let me know. If it's an official Nintendo ROM hack, do not send it. Do not request it. I will not do it. Do not do it. So if you guys want, the last thing I want to say is that I will probably have a Pokemon Game Boy version ready to go. And so if you guys did enjoy, hit that like button. And remember, hit that subscribe button as well. And we'll see you guys in the next episode.